Hi, and welcome to Beyond the Racing Line, the Formula One podcast by fans, for fans. We're back after the summer break. Well, summer break in Formula One land, but back after the break and into the Netherlands for the, what is it, the Zandvoort racetrack. And we've seen a real change of the guard all of a sudden. We were treated to a Lando Norris special in the end after a bit of a dodgy start. And then, took it away with probably what was the most convincing win of the season. Who would have thought that at the start of this year, when we're coming back from the summer break, or what is it? No, the winter break. Who would have thought that when we came back from the winter break, we'd be talking about Lando Norris having the most convincing win of the year? Surely it looked all like it was Red Bull early in the season. Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello, mates. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back.
Good to be back into Formula One land.
I feel like we're going to be rusty today.
Do you think so?
I feel it.
Okay.
I feel it.
Okay.
Just sort of. I hope I'm wrong.
I'll fix that. I'll open another beer.
You said to me 5 minutes ago how many are we going to need. I said, you'll have one finished by the time we walk in here.
Yes.
And you have.
Yeah.
And you have.
Yeah.
You make yourself a little tower of Guinness over there, couldn't you?
I know. I need to go and wash that grass.
Anyway, it's good to be back. Gee, the breaks felt like forever, hasn't it? It really has.
Yeah. I think I was okay with it. You know, it's like sometimes I'm like, I just can't deal with it.
Yep.
I was okay with having a little Formula One break this year.
Maybe because we're getting older.
I think it could be.
Like, I didn't really do anything to fill the void either this time around.
Oh, don't do that.
Which, you know me, like, I'm usually like, right, I've got to find something. But this time around, I was like...
You just wrecked my opening question.
I was just... Yeah. Oh, is that our opening question?
Yeah, it was going to be, what did you do in your break?
I didn't do anything.
You must have done something.
No, well, I didn't really dive into any motorsport or anything like that. It's been cold and wet here.
Mm.
Yeah. It was a legitimate break.
Mm. Yeah, no,
we didn't even do a special episode or anything like that.
I've really enjoyed this season.
Yep.
But, yeah, I was okay with having a bit of time off from the season.
It's because we're getting older, that's why.
I think that's it.
That's it. It's just everything hurts.
It does.
Everything tastes wrong.
What?
You know, when you get older, like,
I don't know about
everything tastes wrong, everything smells bad, everything hurts.
Oh, there you go.
All that kind of stuff. You make weird noises when you get out of bed, like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Dad noises.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Absolutely.
Those ones.
Okay. All right. There you go. Tell me, give me a little race ranking.
Oh. Didn't blow me away, Zandvoort, if I'm brutally honest.
Tell me how many times it has.
Yeah, not a lot.
Once. We had a good one last year.
Did we?
With changing weather conditions.
Yes.
But, yeah, I've got a theory that it needs to go to...
This is last time round, isn't it? What? Is next year last time round?
Oh, at this stage, I think they're pretty confident.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I think, I think it could there's a bunch of races which need to be on the calendar every year. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of races which I think could afford to go on a 2-year rotation.
Yep.
You have it 1 year, and then you don't have it for 2 years.
Okay, yep. 2 years.
Well, sorry,
so not a year,
1
year on, year off?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Yeah, year on, year off. I think we could do that with Formula One tracks, and I honestly think this one could be it. It's a cool track. And
it is a cool track.
I completely understand why drivers like driving there.
Yep.
It's just not a very good racing track. But, like, the crowd's cool. I like the location. Everything about it's pretty good, apart from the fact that it's just a bit boring.
Yeah.
And I think it sort of fits in with a few other racetracks.
Okay.
That could fit that bill.
Yep.
Where we see it every now and then, and I think that would keep our love alive for it. Remember how the German Grand Prix,
yes,
they used to rotate between
Hockenheim and Nürburgring.
Nürburgring, yeah. And I actually really liked that idea.
Yes.
I thought that worked out really well, and I think there's a bunch of tracks in the season which could go on to that sort of rotation.
Okay, I'm feeling in with that. I mean, like a generous 6?
Yeah. I mean...
Like, could easily be a 5? Could even give it a 4.
Was your weekend better with the race on?
It was.
Yeah, so I think if it's better with the race,
so that's why it's probably a 6.
I think it fits at 6. Yeah, I think so.
A generous 6. So, like, I'm not raving about it, but it was just, I was like, oh, it's nice to be back. That was all right.
It was interesting for me for a range of reasons.
Sure, fire him at me.
The fact that is this real? Like, for starters, like the way Lando didn't nail his start.
Yep.
And then had to get the job done. You're like, oh, hello, we've got Red Bull back. Is Red Bull going to do this thing again where they're becoming green again.
Yep.
And then that was very quickly shut down, but it wasn't apparent straight away.
No.
It looked like Max was going to be out in front for a little while.
It did, yep.
And then when Lando started closing the gap, you're like, oh, hello. McLaren are the real deal. And then off he went. And as soon as he got that clear air, there was no stopping him. And
22-second margin, biggest of the season.
I thought it was compelling for the reason as, is our season alive? Like, is it genuinely alive? Because for a long time I've been a denier. I know the championship, the Constructors' Championship's on.
70 points.
But
we've got 9 to go.
But for the Drivers' Championship to be genuinely on.
Genuinely on.
Which one do you you're a Drivers' Championship man?
Yes.
First and foremost.
Yes, very little about Constructors.
Well, I don't know about care little, but for me, Drivers' Championship is a clear number one.
Yes, minimal
Constructors,
interest.
I think it would have been interesting if it had have been. Like, it's interesting me this year.
Yep.
But sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, no.
So the Constructors is well and truly on, but the Drivers' Championship is a little bit on. It's not.
It is. It's not all the way on.
It's not on like Donkey Kong.
It's going to take a couple of weeks to decide how on it is.
Because the problem has been is that Max hasn't been the fastest car for I don't know 7-8 races now.
Yes, correct. Yep.
And he still seems to extend his gap
he's
most weeks.
A couple of weeks.
And that's the thing. Like it's just that everyone else is trying to work out who's the next fastest. But I don't know. It sort of feels like McLaren have just said, "Alrighty, this is us. This is what we're bringing. Come and get us."
Yep.
And I feel like we won't see another moment where Piastri is allowed to have a win again. I feel like McLaren have almost got a little bit of hello.
They got a bit of a sniff here.
We're in here. We need to just make the most of it. And so it's that for me that all that was going through my mind watching this race, and it was just intriguing me, and it was entertaining enough.
Do you reckon it's going to be the case this weekend? Are they going to be?
Well, Ferrari's the one to watch.
Chalky's Ferrari. So have you seen the rear wing setups this weekend?
Ideally, McLaren can match the Ferrari.
I have never seen. I'll see if I find. No, I won't show you a photo because you get.
Let's stay on focus.
I know. I'm just saying.
Ideally, McLaren for McLaren's sake and for the championship's sake, they can match the Ferrari and get ahead of them, and Ferrari can be the buffer.
Yes,
and that's going to be a better point haul for a championship winner. But so it's incredibly interesting. I think we're in an interesting spot for Formula One, but there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done before we start saying that the championship's well and truly unlocked.
Well, and we know, as I said, like he's got to finish second. Lando wins everything. From this point on, and Max finishes second, Max still wins.
Yeah, still not enough. I think even fastest laps don't necessarily get it all done for him. I think, Piastri's going to have to come into play. Ferrari's going to have to pull the finger out, which, hey, there were signs there, wasn't there?
Yep.
We've got into the episode with some serious talk pretty quick.
Well, that sort of sets the tone, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think I straightened up when you said we were rusty.
Well, mate, yeah. Good.
We've got all the goodies. We've got all the goodies tonight.
We do.
It'd be nice to be back into it. I haven't even looked at fantasy, but I'm sure I was.
I have. I'm sure you did poorly. I think you did it right, actually. I'm sure you did poorly. I made the silly mistake of bringing Logan Sargeant in because I wanted to make another move.
Might be a good move.
Then he decided to bin it.
We've got plenty of news.
Including
Logan Sargeant news. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm interested to see what you have to say.
All right. I might even pull up some fan, feedback on that because... I did ask. I like it if we're going to talk about Logan, which I feel we are.
Yep.
Let's bring our fans into this one. So while we're twiddling our thumbs, I'll bring up some comments.
Let's talk the race. Lando Norris gets pole position. He looked like he was on. He was on all weekend, really, wasn't he? It was a funny, tricky little practice sessions. Nothing was really going right for anyone. There was a big break in.
There was lots of rain.
Proceedings. There was plenty of rain.
Gasly top FP3.
Yep.
I saw on a social media page that someone backed in Gasly to top FP3 with ridiculous. A $3.75 bet that nailed them.
That is ridiculous.
A lazy $800.
Well done.
I haven't sent that. I sent that. Jay gave us nothing for his beyond the bet. It's good buried beyond the bet.
You know what Jay's now into?
What's he now into?
You know, he was Formula One.
Yes.
Now went to gardening.
Yep.
He's now getting into cooking and smoking meats. I've got this theory that by the time everyone turns 40, you get very seriously into war, history.
I've kind of always liked war anyway.
Yep. Or you get into smoking meats.
Well, or
golf, I guess.
I don't mind golf. I haven't played for a while.
I
know you don't like golf. It's like a hatred of yours. I have got into cooking because I made dinosaur spaghetti for my 3-year-old the other night, and he ate it. So
you got
I was very up and about, but it wasn't as well received as what.
While we're on the cooking theme,
it was going to be.
We've gone back off track. Look at this. You might be right about this theory about on and off tracks. While we're on this theme, I'll just show you something. Okay. Our friend Shane.
Showing me something. You know,
Shane Freer, who picks on you for having an apron on in a cafe.
Yeah, he was very nice to me in the coffee shop the other weekend.
Yeah, well, look at what he.
About time.
That's his meal.
What's
Isn't that the worst looking?
Oh, it's going to be like it looks like Spam.
That is the worst
steak.
Looking steak. He sent this through to me not long ago.
With beans.
Yeah, so he doesn't cook, and he's in Melbourne for a week, and he's been cooking for himself. Isn't that the most putrid looking?
It literally looks like a can of Spam sliced up on beans.
Not good for podcasting, it's my
fault.
I
don't think you could go to the well-known place here where we live known as Long Gully. I don't think you can find a pub that would serve...
There's some good pubs in Long Gully.
Is there? Oh, apologies to anyone listening there. That's hideous. It looks like Spam.
One of the worst meals you've seen.
And beans. That makes me feel uncomfortable.
I don't mind beans, but...
I do not like beans. They're squeaky.
Anyway, we're talking about Lando Norris. So he started really well. He qualified really well.
Started poorly.
After challenging practice sessions. So I always feel like it's a real test of character if you can still nail your qualifying after not having the perfect setup like that. And while everyone's in the same boat, it still takes the person to do it the right way. And clearly had the fastest car, but yeah, he managed to nail it, and Oscar didn't actually nail it.
No.
And I think that was telling a little bit too. But then got into the race.
Difficult track to overtake on, though.
Yeah.
You've got to give him benefits out there.
Yep. But yeah, so then we saw the race start, and Max managed to nail the both McLarens, and off he went into the distance a little bit. And like I said, I felt like it was just a moment of, have Red Bull's done something that we didn't realise that they'd done over the break? Are they going to be the fourth team again? And it's held in there for quite some time. I can't remember, what was it, lap 15 or something like that, I think?
It was. We hung around for a little bit before we had that pass.
Yeah, so he made a bit of a gap, which was really interesting. Norris held his head, didn't feel the need to go chasing him really hard straight away and kill those tyres.
Yep.
Held his head. You're playing tunes. And then he managed to get the move done, and then he did it so convincingly.
So good.
When we see all these other drivers really struggling for an overtake.
Yeah.
Norris just nailed it, didn't he?
He did. He was absolutely on it. And it was straight through.
Chase him down.
Yep.
And get the deal done real quick.
Yep.
And that sort of made me think, I was like, we're going to see lots of overtakes today, and we really didn't. So
Gasly sort of provided them to us.
He did
with some of his moves.
Yep. But yeah, it was just and then drove away into the distance, and it was one of the most full experiences from Norris that we've seen, I think.
What do you make of the 22-second gap?
I think it was
suspiciously big.
What are you referring to?
There's talk that the Red Bull has had an asymmetrical brake dampener taken off.
Oh, right.
Right.
And I thought you were suggesting McLaren.
No, I'm not suggesting McLaren have done anything wrong. There's talk of the asymmetrical brake dampener coming off the Red Bull. Don't know how that came to fruition with that one. But 22 seconds to be like, that gap was whittling down, and we've seen the timing of the gap where we started this, where Max was 21 seconds or 30, whatever, ahead in the opening round. So we've sort of pegged it back down to we're on a par. But then 22 seconds is a big jump to go in the other direction. I don't know, I'm sus. I'm sus on the amount of time.
So you sus that Red Bull have dropped
that
away
Red
so
Bull
far.
dropped away. And I don't know. I find it unusual that a team that, when we're on a par and have been on a par for what, a month, could you say? We've probably been on a par for a month.
I'd say they've been ahead. They just haven't made the most of it.
Yeah, we haven't blown each other out of the water yet.
No, we haven't.
But then to suddenly just have a couple of weeks off, and now you are that, like, 8 or 9 or 10 seconds. Yep, fair enough. Well played. But 22, biggest margin of the season. Don't know. Just something doesn't sit right with me with that. There's something going on somewhere, and I wonder if the Red Bull has had something taken off in it.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. I've been keeping a close eye on it. I haven't really seen much more than that. But
So to explain that to those who aren't across this, you can have brake bias from front to back of car, but left and right, the front left and right has to be braking symmetrically.
Yep.
So you can't apply more brake to the right-hand side or the left-hand side, depending on where you are or which track it is.
Yeah.
So, I'd sort of I'd seen a little bit of it. I haven't really read so much into it.
No, I've been sort
It's
of
interesting.
looking into
It is interesting.
It really, the gap caught my attention more.
Well, I
than
wonder
anything.
whether the track did that. Being a track that is very wide, it's hard to follow. Particularly,
It is Monaco-esque though, like not hugely. Like even Budapest, it's very similar to that.
Yep.
We didn't see those kind of margins in those two races. So,
Yep.
don't know. As I said, it caught my eye at the end of the race. I was like, oh, that's a lot.
I wonder if there's an element of Max just backing off.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Realising where his race was. I mean,
Yep.
Max is a lot of things in the past, but one thing that he is now that he wasn't necessarily 5 years ago is he's a really, really clued on racer.
Yep.
And I think he's well and truly across this situation where if he just finishes second as much as possible, things should be fine for him for this championship.
Yeah.
And I think it could have been, there might have been an element of Max understanding, rightio, I need to bank big points here. And he's been able to bank big points throughout the last 7 races where he hasn't been the fastest car. And it could be still that strategy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. Didn't see the threat from behind, but yeah, interesting. It'll be a watch and see, won't it?
It will be.
Piastri, let me know.
Fourth place, still highly respectable.
Thoughts on it?
I think it's just a case with that where he sort of he didn't really get mugged at the start, fell back at the start. Mm-hmm. He was battling pretty hard for third there with Russell.
Yep.
In those early stages. Mm-hmm. Generally sort of ran out of legs in that first
Well,
stint.
he got third, didn't he?
No, Piastri finished fourth.
No. But
he
got into third. Sorry, he got into third.
He got it, but then lost legs after that, and I think was just generally outdriven by Charles, which Ferrari sort of came to life.
Which is, I think he extended his first run, got undercut, didn't help the situation, and while Norris is able to drive around the outside of, or overtake Max quite easily, Piastri didn't have that same success. I think he had the speed in the car, but didn't have that same ability to get the overtakes done.
Yep.
I think there is, and someone else had mentioned this I saw some analysts of the way that Charles had driven, and they were very complimentary to the way that he'd managed to defend his third spot.
Well, they were very much not in the conversation for anything, and even his comments were that the podium would be an absolute miracle for the Ferraris.
Yeah,
so
I think the way that he drove, I think there's probably got to be a little bit of credit going his way. But yeah, I thought actually Piastri's race was a little disappointing.
Okay,
I think not helped by strategy.
Yep.
But it would have been nice to see him get a job done.
Yep.
In the overtake, but anyway, it was interesting. He had a crack. He dropped back again, saved some tyres, built some things up, then had another crack.
Yep.
He did all the right things. He just couldn't quite get that pass done.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought it was a little disappointing, particularly when they need him in amongst that.
Yeah.
Max's race,
I mean, started really well, but maybe it was like what you said. It was that real mature sort of race where he probably There probably was a stage where he recognised and goes, well, we're not under threat for third. We're not really in the ballpark for first.
I'm going to save.
Are we on engine limitations here?
Yep.
Do I just need to save it? I realise where we are.
Yep.
Let's just park it.
Could there be a challenge late in the race where I'm going to need some extra tyres?
Yep.
Is probably something that may have been discussed. I'm not sure. Yeah, so anyway, it's an interesting battle that he's now going to have to fight.
Yep.
It's a different battle that he's going to have to fight. He's been an aggressor a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
At the moment, he's going to be a defender. And it's a different type of battle, so it'll be a nice watch and see how it goes. We've mentioned Perez. Thoughts on Perez finishing 6th?
Uninspired.
This is now their
uninspired.
Pass mark. Interesting.
What are we, 776?
Horner's now classing this as a solid race.
No. Well, before the summer break, we
haven't chatted.
We're not. We're saying before the summer break that this is not okay. Then we back him in. So he starts really well. Absolutely all credit to him. Start of the season, awesome. Starts well, drops off.
Drops off in some pretty big ways.
Sorry, starts well, gets signed, drops off
straight away.
Then seed under threat. Has an okay race. We have a break. What is it? 776. That's not okay.
No,
it's not okay.
It's interesting. Why did they decide to stick with him?
Is there unrest
when this championship is so tight and he's costing them so much?
Yep.
Why? Tell me.
There has to be some sort of underlying reason as to why they've kept him. There's either a huge amount of sponsorship dollars that is probably in the best interest of the team to grab because they're developing their own engine very, very shortly. So that's going to support that financially. He's either got some sort of dirt on Horner and Marco and that they physically cannot get rid of him, or there is extreme unrest between the team where one person is making a decision that the other person doesn't want, but the support is going in one way rather than the other.
I think you're on the money with the last one.
Yep.
I think that political
battle
is just holding things in place because decisions are being made hard to make.
Yep.
Which is why we're seeing so many people leaving at the moment.
Yep.
I think that one's probably the closest to the mark. I mean, there's also an element of, and Horner in his interview with the girls on Sky, which was actually a really good interview. I wish they backed off a couple of times. I wish they kept the pressure on. But yeah, I think he alluded to that he probably didn't really want Perez in that car.
Yep.
He wanted Perez in the car, but he alluded to the fact that he didn't really think that he should be in that car.
Yep.
Then sort of backed away from it. And then the other thing that he alluded to is, well, who would you put in the car?
I love that he fired the question straight back, saying
which is interesting.
Does that sort of speak of that he's a little bit sick of being asked about it, and he's sort of said his reason, and you're not really listening to me, so I'm putting it back on you, saying, well, you tell me who you're putting in and why.
Yeah. And so that is the big question. I think it's an element of we can't get a decision made. I would like Dan Ricciardo.
Yep.
Helmut Marko doesn't want Dan Ricciardo back in that car.
Yep.
And so we're in this little spot where, well, we'll just have to stick with it. What was said and what wasn't reported as widely as everybody has sort of maybe reported other things is that they said that he'll be in the car for his favourite races.
Okay.
They're not saying that he's in the car for the rest of the season. He's in the car for the favourite races. So, and they're talking about street circuits. So I'd say that's four races he's got. He gets Monza.
Yep.
And then he gets I think
Singapore
and then after that is Baku. Or it might be Baku, then Singapore, actually, is it?
Yeah, I think it's Singapore first this year, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Could be. Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, street circuits.
Yeah, so it's about the street circuits. And then I think if he still can't be performing in a way that the team can get enough points, I think there's an element there. But I'm not entirely sure that they're certainly not convinced on Dan Ricciardo. Otherwise the move would have been made. Yuki Tsunoda's not being made. Which it's amazing that they do still hold off. The Red Bull that we've known would have jumped on Yuki Tsunoda, wouldn't they? Of the past.
Yep.
And so there's an element of they've grown up a little bit. Charles Leclerc, really, really solid, which is exactly what we've said about Charles Leclerc for a little bit now.
Very long time, yep.
It's not groundbreaking stuff. It's not we're in the competition, but we are really, really pulling in points that are the next best thing as being the fastest. And he's doing that quite a lot, and it's quite an impressive run that he's in at the moment.
Yep.
The Ferrari, for me, like, they're always the watch for a Monza.
Yep.
Is he the best bet for a win this weekend?
Jeez, you say that, but then it's really science that does. He does this, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This is what science does. When
there's an opportunity.
When there's an opportunity for Ferrari, and it should be Charles, it's science.
Yep.
Yep.
And so, but anyway, so it was a solid race. I thought he drove really well against Piastri.
Yep.
Piastri had a faster car, but he wasn't able to get the job done. He had a couple of cracks at it. It was a solid, for Piastri, it was a solid attempt at overtaking.
Yep.
Because he did all the right things. He had a crack, waited a bit, had another crack, waited a bit, like, kept the pressure on.
Yep.
And equally, and probably not equally, better to the task was Leclerc's resistance of Piastri.
Yep.
He copped the barrage, withstood it, copped the barrage, withstood it, managed to hold on. I mean, it was a really tricky place to race, to overtake, but yeah, he did a pretty decent job. Science also, pretty decent job.
Very good job.
They're not that far off now. They were a long way off. 25 seconds off the win is pretty decent for them at the moment. But more importantly, only 3 seconds off Red Bull. That's an interesting stat. So McLaren sort of shot ahead. I think Ferrari is moving forward, and that Red Bull seems to have stalled a little bit. But I also feel like there was that management phase going on with the Red Bull. Russell's race?
Well, was full of hope at the start, wasn't it? And then the Mercedes just really fell backwards. Really fell backwards. And concern this weekend for Monza that it isn't going to do exactly the same thing.
Considering where they've been, it was a pretty disappointing.
But then is this what the new second half of the season looks like? Like, do we need to sort of look at teams now and go, well, it's probably not disappointing? Like, we need to actually start to expect this ebb and flow between the top four across all race weekends, that one weekend someone's going to be on, next week they're going to be off, one week they're going to fly at the field, next week they're going to make, steps backwards.
It's a nice place to be in for Formula 1, isn't it?
It's a great place to be, but maybe that's sort of...
Yep. So he went backwards from a decent grid position. Hamilton came forwards from a poor grid position.
Yes.
And they sort of met in the middle.
He was very downbeat Lewis after his qualifying, saying that, should have been a little bit further up.
Yep. Gasly,
I thought Gasly was one of the drivers of the weekend, to be quite honest.
I was going to say...
I really did.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where your points lie.
Yeah,
because
really did. He was fantastic. That Alpine shouldn't have been up there in the points. Qualified well, practiced beautifully well, made fantastic...
Continued to
tick through that race. Like, it wasn't spectacular,
Yep.
but it was one of those really hard-fought, ground-out points-paying positions in an Alpine that really isn't doing much.
Yep.
Shouldn't be doing much, and did really, really well. So, made some great overtakes. It was really good. So...
Yep. Absolutely.
Another example as to why driver of the day is really the most pointless,
Why?
Well, I mean, Lando...
Who won it?
I mean, Lando got it.
Oh.
Because all the...
That's
all
about
the
right.
new gen...
That's about right.
Formula 1 followers grab their phones quickly and
I'll be interested to see where your points lie.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's pretty close between the two of them.
Yep.
Was Gasly second in the list?
No, I don't even think he featured at all.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it was Lando, I think
Fair
it
enough.
was Max, and I think it was Charles, to be quite honest. But,
Probably.
I don't know. That's,
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Alonso sort of
10th.
I
mean,
got something out of it.
Yep.
Yep.
The Aston are sort of they're the forgotten team of the year now,
They
aren't
were
they?
looking like they were a little bit more than this, than
Yep.
10th, weren't they, at one stage?
Yes.
They would have been disappointed that Gasly managed to get ahead of them. I think they
Yeah.
thought that they were probably the next best team after the big ones. So,
Yep.
But yeah, it was a pretty decent performance. Hulkenberg was going pretty well and dropped off right towards the end out of the points.
Yep.
And our man Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, like...
Poor qualifying, cost him big time in his qualifying.
Did actually, yeah.
And from what I can tell, it's just he didn't get the lap together. Yuki, his teammate, was the opposite. Great qualifying.
And then went the other way. Yeah.
But Ricciardo, got Stroll in the last lap, which is always a bit of fun.
Nothing makes anyone happier.
He had to get some overtakes done to get to this position. At one point, I think he was rolling around in 18th or 17th position. And so, wasn't great. Geez, those starts are costing the RBs so much.
I think they are.
Both cars go backwards.
Yes.
Every start at the
almost like their clutch pattern is just incorrect.
Yeah, well, and it seems to be that second phase this time, whereas it was first phase early in the season. So it's like every time they're qualifying, they're going backwards at the start. And it's so costly. Like you may as well add the 2 positions every time they qualify, which is hard work. But anyway, it'd be nice to get a little bit more done. He was really disappointed with the result, which really pleased me.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, he felt like that car should have been contending for the points.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think that's the right attitude to take into it, not this business of we did pretty well to come from where we did. No. I want to see it further up. But in saying that, it was a really solid race.
Yeah.
Anyone else you want to mention?
No, I think they're sort of the key players that we need to mention. The Saubers just, getting worse.
Yeah.
Getting worse.
Well, but Bottas was looking okay for a little bit there.
And second last.
But Bottas was up around I don't know where he was, and then just went backwards big time.
Yeah. We're going to lose Valtteri to the sport?
I hope so.
I hope not.
That sounds really mean. Not because I can't stand the man. It's just, I just don't think he's going to be offering anything in the sport. I feel like he's probably given us everything that we need.
Yep.
Would I be shattered if you stayed on the grid? Absolutely not.
Yep.
But I don't know. I feel like maybe that's a spot that a younger driver could be taking.
Okay, fair.
I don't know. A rejuvenated team. He's the sort of guy that needs to be in a decent team to be a decent driver. I'm not sure he's pulling that team along at this phase of his career.
Yep.
But mind you, I probably said the same thing about Hulkenberg, and look what he's done with Haas. So,
very surprised with
don't know if they can turn it around.
Yep.
It's a bit of a nothing seat at the moment.
It is, isn't it? It's a bit of a nothing team
until Audi take over properly and actually they start pumping some serious work into what they're achieving.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a meh, whatever at the moment. But
fair.
Anyway, probably hard about it. Hope not. I do like the man. Anyway, 3, 2, and 1.
3, 2, and 1.
Thanks to All Signs. Thank you, All Signs. 3, 2, and 1. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go 3 to Charles. I agree with him that a miracle was needed.
Wow.
A miracle was needed for a podium, and they were nowhere.
That's a big call.
So,
right. Okay.
3 to Charles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give 2 to Max, and I'm going to give 1 to Gasly. And I'm not going to give any points to Lando. Yeah.
Max?
I'm not going to give any points to Lando. I'm just not. I'm just not.
Hang on, Max. Why Max?
2 to Max.
What did he do that was too worthy?
Just thought he was good. We do. Like, we can't give it to a runaway, like...
Oh, you can a little bit.
Yeah, no. I know, maybe it's that sus on the... Maybe that's my suspicion on the margin that...
Wow.
Lando's not half a minute quicker than Max. He's not.
So you should penalise him with not giving him any points.
I'm just saying,
it can't possibly be him.
It's not sitting well with me. He's not half a minute quicker than Max.
Wow.
He's not. As a driver, he's not.
I can't believe you've given points to Max. That just blows my mind.
On a side topic, this is something I found reading the comments on social media a lot. Lando rubbing fans the wrong way. Is that a real thing, do you think?
I don't know.
Don't think so?
I
don't think so.
How has he done this?
I saw on the Formula 1 page that his comment across the line was simply lovely when he won, which is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek dig at Max.
Why?
That's what Max says when he wins.
Simply lovely?
Yep. And then it's just
Does he?
Yep.
I never noticed it.
All the time.
Oh.
And then, I don't know, seems to be a lot of not love for Lando at the moment. Like,
Is
he becoming a bit of a polarising figure all of a sudden?
Well, I don't know. I like him. I don't know. He doesn't seem to have quite collected the same following as a Lewis has in...
Yeah.
But Lewis also has 7 world championships.
It's true.
Lando has a couple of wins.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think there's time to come.
Yeah.
I think there's time
That's
to come.
fair.
But name me a driver that is loved around the world. Go on, name me one.
Dan.
Yeah. Name me another one.
Charles.
Loved. No.
Yeah.
No, Charles is
loved.
No, Charles is respected, but he hasn't got a following. Dan's got a following.
Yeah, Lewis.
Lewis
is loved.
Yes,
Lewis is either
it's-
loved or hated.
I was going to say, but it's been booed.
Yeah.
In lots of places he goes. So
Yep.
no, not around the world.
Yep.
Where else? Who else?
Lewis is loved.
See, and what I'm getting at is it's
Yep.
nearly an impossible
It's a
feat.
hard thing to do.
Max is loved in his area of the world.
Yeah, and we say that when we go to Australia. Why is he not doorstopped every 5 minutes? And he's not.
Yep.
But I love him.
Yeah, and not for anything other than the fact that he is a magnificent racing driver.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
feel
but
like
it's
I
just
love him because other people don't love him. As
yeah,
well. Like,
yeah, and I've got an element of that too. And,
Yeah.
But it's like it's nearly impossible to be loved everywhere you go. And while Dan has managed to achieve that, he hasn't managed to achieve the other.
Yeah.
And maybe if he got into some proper world championship battles with people, then there might be
Maybe
some,
the love would come.
well, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it would disappear.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Depending on where he was racing
on-
and,
yes.
and the circumstances and
Good
all of those
point,
sorts
yep.
of things. So, yeah, I feel like it sort of comes with the job a little bit, is that you're going to be a little bit polarising, particularly if you're picking on someone in their home country a little bit,
Yep.
maybe. Yeah, so for me, I've got to go the Norris 3 points. I've got to go Norris 3 points because it was just the first time I've seen him, and it wasn't quite complete with that start, but it was a bloody decent effort. 2 points to Gasly. I thought you docked him 1.
Okay.
And you should have had 2.
Okay.
And then I'm down with Charles having a point. So yeah, pretty decent. Dud of the day.
Dud of the day.
I'm going a really boring one.
All right. Yeah. Look, again, I'm struggling again this week.
What
for
was
a dud.
going on with the audio
Yep.
this week? Any time that it was anyone other than the commentators in the commentary box.
I actually paid zero attention to that.
Any interview after the race, audio disappeared.
Right.
Pretty much. Well, it was there, but it was really minute.
Yep.
When they went to the pit wall,
Yep.
audio disappeared.
Yep.
And so it was just really, really frustrating. But honestly, I don't know if I've got any other major duds of the day.
I could say lack of flares because Zandvoort a couple of years ago was bathed in. I know
about
you hate flares, but I love flares. And
Did you see the finish line?
Where are they?
Norris crosses the finish line. They did the whole fireworky thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And for whatever reason, it must have been the conditions.
Yep.
Because they're at the beach, you
Yep.
do get these conditions.
Yep.
The smoke dropped,
Yeah,
and you could not see
yeah.
the first corner of the track after that moment.
Yeah.
And it was quite spectacular as it came through.
Yeah.
But then the smoke dropped and sat there, and there was a few drivers, not many, it didn't actually get much airtime, but there's a few drivers were like, oh, we can't see. Is there anyone in there?
Yeah.
And they were relying on their pit wall to tell them.
There's anyone there.
And they were, I think it was actually a move out of the smoke zone.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, but yeah, I was like, there you go, that's a dangerous thing.
Yes. So no, lack of flares because I love flares, and we'll see them at Monza this weekend. So that'll be my cheeky early call hero of the hour. But
Okay.
yeah, speaking of hero of the hour for you,
Yeah, go on.
I have one.
I do love a hero.
Yes, the float that we drove around on in the drivers' parade.
I didn't see it.
The floral
Didn't see it.
lion float. You didn't see it?
No.
Let me find a photo.
Okay. All right.
Brilliant.
Yeah, right.
Brilliant.
Interesting.
Copped a lot of flack.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot of flack from a lot of people. Let me see if I can find it here for you. And I just thought it was absolutely first class. It was weird. It was different. It was colourful. It was a lion. It was made of flowers.
Tell me, it made me think of. Did you see any of the Olympic opening ceremony?
I
Did you?
don't
Did you?
love
So
the Olympics,
You know
yeah.
how? No, I know. You
Yeah.
know how at the Olympics, at the opening ceremony, they make
Yep.
all the countries walk into the stadium.
Yep.
And it's the most boring thing in the world.
Yep.
Watching all these countries come in. This year, I believe they floated them down the river. Just remind me, remember when they did the drivers coming to the season in Melbourne, the last time Australia hosted the first race of the season?
Yep.
And they brought him in on the Yarra, on the
Yep.
on the boat. And it just made me chuckle. I was like, oh, yeah, that didn't work.
See if I can find it now. It's disappeared from my
No.
thread. I'll find it for you before
Okay.
they're... Hey, what did you make about the enormity of the trophies too? You know I love a good bit of trophy chat. They were
yeah.
absolutely monstrous.
Yeah, and loved them.
Yeah,
Loved
not
them.
sure how I felt about like the little sort of inspirational quotes
No.
littered all over them that
No.
represented what drivers had to sacrifice to be Formula One drivers.
okay.
But geez, up big.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was super.
I liked it.
Good size.
Thoughts on the Monza?
I'm still
trophy?
jury's out on it. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. It looks like something you make in Metalworks in year 9.
Does not look Formula 1.
But it's different though, and I'll take an artistic trophy over a Heineken sponsorship star any day of the
This
week.
is Monza. Should be
know.
spectacular.
Oh, I know.
There's
but
ever been a Gold Cup
It's
worthy
different.
track. It's this one, I
yeah,
thought.
it's different. It's different. but
Someone needs to modernise the gold.
It's better than the
cup.
sponsor ones.
Yeah, I
the
agree.
Santan's a sponsor. God, that's hideous. I'm glad we don't have those anymore.
I agree.
Anyway, so yeah, here are the ads. The floral sort of lion float.
F1.5.
I loved it. F1.5, the greatest championship in the world.
It is. I imagine I was just trying to do the calculations.
Yep.
I imagine there's been some closing of
Were
gaps.
you really though?
You know, I was.
Were you?
Well, because I think about.
Because I remember you said oh, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do our driver votes, and then you found someone to do it for you.
Yeah, but this is
Remember
different.
that?
This is
It's
you.
different. This is different. It's me. Anyway, excuse me, I'm dying. For those of you that are just joining us after the summer break, take out the top runners, which is really just the top 5 teams of this one now this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reshuffle the finishing order, so 10th is first, 11th is second, 12th is third, etc., all the way down. And being we've got 10 runners this year, everyone scores a point, even if you DNF.
It doesn't quite work that way.
Nah, it does
You've
sort of
actually
work
messed
that
up
way.
that description.
Have I?
Yeah.
Everyone gets a point, even if you DNF. You
No,
get a
no,
point.
yeah, no. Oh, right, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, you DNF,
Okay,
you get a point.
Yep.
'Cause you're last.
Yeah, so we removed the top 5 teams.
Yes, that's
Aston
what I said.
Martin, Ferrari. Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
no, I thought you were describing it. Yeah, anyway. Yep.
No,
Anyway,
I
keep
know what
going.
I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You should.
let's just go through it. What do we do? Do you want to do random order today?
No.
I know.
Never. Never.
I know.
There is no world where that is appropriate.
I know. Nothing confuses you more than when I just start
It's
throwing
just
random
useless.
order. And you've got to think through it, and I can see your brain like ticking over, and you're like, I'm
Just
lost.
useless.
I'm lost. All right, in last place, and it's like our farewell. It's our farewell to Logan.
How many points did
Who
he
will,
get?
who will end the season on 69 points. Had 8 this round. One of his best results for the year. His third best result for the year.
69 points is... I mean, I know everyone scores a point, but it's a lot more than the 1 point that if you came last every round...
Yeah, well, that would only be 15 points, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like he's actually done okay to not be that guy.
His last 4 rounds have actually been 12, 6, 4 and 8.
There you go.
So it's not been awful. So anyway, that's it. Farewell to Logan, who we replace with Colapinto.
Colapinto is correct.
As
Well
of,
done.
Thank you. As of this weekend.
Fabian?
So, Fabiano? Argentine.
Okay.
Argentine, Fabiano Colapinto. Anyway, he'll be in replacement. So he'll be starting on 0 because you can't inherit points.
Oh, God, no.
No, not how it works. Not on my watch. So 69 points for Logan Sargeant. Thanks for all your memories, Logan. What was your favourite Logan memory?
The one where he crashed and destroyed his career.
I got yeah. Jeez, that was a big hit, wasn't it?
Oh, no, actually.
It was a
no.
big hit.
It was actually.
It was a massive hit.
And it was so, like, nothing to cause it.
Yeah.
That track, like, he wasn't... Yeah.
Very close proximity to the grass that wall.
Yep.
It was spectacular.
My favourite Logan moment was
Yep.
when Albon took his car off him.
Oh, that no.
And it mainly makes me happy because you were so
I
angry.
still
about
am. I still am. We'll
You
talk
were
about his
so
sacking
angry.
shortly. I'm not alright with it. Anyway, so 69
Really?
for Sargeant.
Oh, I'm
yes.
interested.
No, yeah, we'll talk to that shortly.
Okay.
Bottas 87. Again, not really setting the world on fire. Last round with 2. And Zhou on 93. So Should crack the ton shortly, Joe, but Joe's had a shocking 4 weeks, 2-2-1-1.
Oh, where you go?
Which is, here's Joe where. It's good. After that, we've got K-Mag. K-Mag is again just dropping back a little bit, K-Mag. Last 4 rounds, 10, 10, 10, and 4. So 157 for K-Mag. I've done that one extra round, sorry. Albon, 148. Albon is actually coming on a little bit in these last 4 rounds. 18, 12, 15, and 12.
You do owe him an apology.
I don't owe him an apology at all. 160 points to Gasly, who took the win this round.
161, did you say?
160, even.
Yep.
166 to Ocon.
Yep.
Then we've got in third place, we've got Dan.
Our man Dan.
Holding on third place, 15 points this round on 178.
Yep.
In second place, I like how you did that with your finger, like trying to work that out.
Oh, no, it's honestly, it's a way of...
Is that a thing that you do?
Helps me memorise.
I have a thing that helps me memorise what exit I need to take on the roundabout. So I'll be listening to my navman, and it'll say, like, take the third exit, and so I will use my hand, and I'll just go 1, 2, 3, and then I know I got to take that. Yeah.
Okay.
Ask my lovely other half how she feels about that. I do it all the time. Take the first exit.
You do have some habits.
I'm like, it's this one. I have to do
you're
it.
a real
1, 2,
habit,
I know. Anyway.
178.
178.
Because I did it with my finger, so I remember.
178.
Yep.
178 for Dan in third. In second place is Yuki Tsunoda on 215. Had a bad fortnight.
So has he just lost the lead this week or not?
No.
He'd already...
He's dropped off. He is dropping off, though. Last 2 rounds are 6 and 6.
Yep.
Dan's last 2 rounds, 18 and 15.
Leaves Hulkenberg in the lead.
So he's hunting him, and it does leave Hulk, who has had a much-needed boost of points of 18. 18 points. Because he'd gone from 25, 15, and 2.
Oh.
But then he's back on it with 18. So... Jeez, for all intensive purposes,
score?
So he's on 241.
Ooh.
So he's got a win and a bit in his pocket.
Wow.
He has been the most consistent man this year by a mile. But however, when you look at the form, you got Dan coming in hot at the moment, and you've got the Alpine boys who are actually starting to grow. They've both had a win in the last 2 rounds, the Alpine boys. So you never know. Anyway, 241, 215, and 178. These F1.5. For round 15 of our illustrious championship.
Isn't it just a wonderful...
It is.
Wonderful thing. Who do you reckon's going to... You ask me all the time. Who do you reckon's going to win the championship?
I've got a funny feeling about Dan at the moment, that he's just going to do enough, but I think Hulk is very much like Max.
Dan's a long way off.
He is, but he's just... Hulk should hang on. He would need to have just a dramatic fall off. He has done the hard work early, very similar to Max,
and is still scoring decent points.
And is still scoring well.
Time,
yeah, when you look at the first 2, 4, 6 rounds, it was 8, 25, 18, 18, 25, 15, 18. That's 7. Sorry, no, it's not. Yeah, it's 7. So it's a lot of points early when the likes of him around him are like 6s in there and 2s and 4s and 8s, and it's a bit of a smattering of points there. So anyway, look, I think Hulk should hang on. It'd be daylight robbery if he didn't hang on at this point in time. But hey, you never know. Funnier things have happened.
That is true.
Fantasy.
Yeah, sorry.
Fantasy.
Sorry, I should have been in.
That's all right.
I am rusty. You're
Fantasy. Right. Fantasy, thanks to Chris at Dr. Auto Art. Get around Chris and his fantastic art pieces. He's done a couple of Lando pieces I saw across the last few rounds as well. But thanks to Chris. Check out his work at Dr. Auto Art on Instagram, Facebook, Redbubble, all good social media. Subscribe to his newsletter for discounts and sales. It'll be Christmas soon. It will literally be Christmas soon.
I know.
Maybe you might want something for your loved one who loves Formula One. Maybe you want something for yourself.
That'd be nice.
Maybe you're one of those people who like to treat yourself before you treat other people.
You do that?
Absolutely not.
You used to.
I used to. Sometimes I do like to buy myself something, but
yeah,
I don't know. Do you know how many parcels I tripped over at the door today? 743. Well, it felt like 743, but it was 4. Anyway, I don't treat myself as much these days.
No.
Anyway, thanks to Chris, our top 3 finishers for this year's competition will take home one of his fantastic pieces of Formula One art. Driver of your choosing, maybe chassis of your choosing, if you like that kind of thing. Current, historic, past, present, you name it. And thanks to Chris for all his amazing work. All right. How do you think you went this week?
Oh, I'm just looking.
Oh, yeah.
I went okay, but not as okay as I'd hoped.
No.
Not as bad as you, though.
No, I don't think you did badly.
I'm a fair way down the list.
You are a fair way down.
I thought I'd done okay, and then I was like, oh no, I'm a long way down this list.
No, so for the round, we'll go through the round. So the top 10 finishes for the round for the Dutch Grand Prix. You win, you Lewis, with Devon Schmidt on 266. Got What It Stakes, Jamie Baker on 263. Jaeger Dynamics, Samuel Pearsall on 259. Roman Merrick with 258. Lors van der Veer on 257. David Rojas 253. Arv Riedling 249. Simon Lang 248. Abe Stander 247. And rounding out the top 10 for the round was Nicola Taylor on 244. Your big winner for the round would have been Lando Norris if you were lucky enough to have him on the double.
No.
Scored you 112, which was not me.
No, it
so
wasn't me either.
I finished in a lowly 32. I did make some changes which I thought were going to pay off, but I didn't really pay too much attention this round. And ended up on 166, which was not brilliant. I actually dropped out. I made a couple of changes. I went one change too many, actually. So it cost myself 10 points. But I wanted to bring in George because I thought he was very much on it for the weekend. So I did.
I did that too.
I did. So I made 3 changes and I brought George in and I brought Logan Sargeant in because I wanted to bring George in. Anyway, that didn't work out. I ended up with Oscar on the double with 40, George with 13, Hulk with 6. Yuki Tsunoda hurt us big time.
Oh.
-3. Even Logan Sargeant, who literally buried his career, scored no points.
I'm fuming.
And I had 81 for McLaren and 39 for Mercedes. So that's where I finished up for the round. And if we go to...
How many did you get?
100... What did I just say? I forget what I just said. I forget what it said. No, 166.
Right.
What did you end up on for the round?
174.
174. Okay, and I made a 10 point. A minus 10 point extra. So, anyway, our leader out in front. Lors van der Veer. This is our whole season so far to this round. Top 10 finishes look like this. Lors van der Veer on 3,453. Dean Holt in second place, 3,383. Chloe Anderson sitting pretty in the top 3 as well, 3,285. Roman Merrick, 3,268. That's very close there. And then you go to Andy Tails, 3,263. So that's tight. That's tight at the top for a bit of a podium finish there. Farees Haviz in 6th place, 3,219. David Rojas in 7th, 3,212. Jolyon Dyer, 3,204. My good self still hanging in there in 9th.
Well done.
3,038. And Adam Hughes, literally one solitary point behind me.
Outstanding.
3,037.
Come on, Adam.
So anyway.
Favourite of the show, Adam.
That's it, favourite of the show.
And I'm hoping he can be an even bigger favourite if he
You're
can
not
knock you
doing
off.
poorly.
Me?
Like you are, but you're in 15th at the moment on 2,828.
I think I've actually moved up.
So I think you have moved up a little bit there. So anyway, I'll tell you what, you would be holding your breath for FP3 to see where the Ferraris are. Because...
Oh, no, I just made the move. No, I've brought the Ferraris in.
You just brought them in.
Mercedes are gone?
Like, you literally just locked them in and saved them. You're not even going to wait and see if they're good.
No. Yeah, I brought them in.
This is where you and I are very different.
Yeah, well, I know I'm not going to remember to do it another time. When I'm watching Formula 1,
so you're just doing it now.
Fantasy isn't ever on my mind.
See, I found that FP1 and FP2 fantasy is on my mind, hence why I brought in George.
No, I spend all my time just enjoying Formula 1.
Anyway, how are we looking here? Let's have a look how easy it is to actually do the straight swap. Constructor, no.
They're a little bit more...
It is a little bit... Going to have to move someone on to do that straight swap.
Not for me, it's done.
Yowzers, all right.
Yeah, I brought in Dan again too.
Did you? You brought Dan back in?
Yeah, Yuki screwed me, so he's out.
So you're out with Yuki. See, I did a swap. I did do a swap already where I brought Lando in instead of Oscar. I just made the quick switch over there. So maybe, what have I got? Yeah, I've only got 1 of 2 free transfers left to go, so maybe I've missed the constructor boat there. 21.5 with my driver. Oh, maybe I can't do anything this week.
Oh, well. Bad luck for you.
Oh, well.
I'll probably regret it.
We'll see how we go. No, I can't. I can't do anything. It's going to cost me 10 points again.
Franco.
I brought Lando in. Anyway.
Franco Colapinto.
Yes. Good.
I think I called him Fabian before.
Fabian.
Franco Colapinto has replaced Logan Sargeant. Tell me what you're thinking about that.
I did say we were going to bring up some fan comments too.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? It's mixed emotion here with Logan because...
Why?
We've got 9 rounds to go.
Yep.
We know he's not going to be there next year.
Yep.
You're putting an untried rookie in your team who is not going to have your race seat next year either. What's the point?
I'm with you.
What's the point?
So
what's the point?
Let's. I want to work through this step by step.
Yep.
Would you have replaced Logan Sargeant?
No.
Would you have replaced Logan Sargeant if you had a better driver?
Yep.
But now that we're bringing in a rookie to learn this car.
Is he even their test driver? I don't even think
yes,
he is.
He is. He's in the program.
So we're putting a test driver in for 9 rounds who fully knows well that their future is still in Formula 2. There isn't a seat available at Williams for said test driver. We are only getting 9 rounds. What is the point? The choice, and it's. I think he's an F2 driver. He is an F2 driver.
The point, I'm lost in why him. I would understand bringing in a couple of drivers.
Yep.
Lawson, I don't really know what Red Bull's hesitation with it is, other than the fact that I feel like they're still wanting to use him. I feel like the fact that Lawson didn't step into this car tells me that they're still planning on sacking a driver this year.
If Lawson was good enough, he'd already be there.
But I feel like they've said no because they still know they're going to use him soon.
Yep.
Whereas they haven't. Yeah. Otherwise, if they weren't going to use him, then they would have. They would have let him go.
Well, that was the reasoning reported that he was their first choice. But Red Bull said you can have him,
but we want him
the
back.
The moment we need him back, you lose him.
Yeah, which tells me that they're not actually sticking to this whole Perez stays, Ricciardo stays, Yuki stays.
Yep.
One of those drivers is going to be sacked at some stage this year. Won't be Yuki, won't be Max. The other two, who really knows? And I'm not sure Red Bull really know. I think that's why they're holding on to that point.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a really interesting one. So I'm with you. I would not have taken on this driver who has struggled anyway. He's had a couple of race wins, but they've been, I think, in sprint races, so there's short form races. So he showed a little bit of form here and there, but for me, that's not Formula 1 worthy yet. What about Schumacher? Schumacher was the other. I mean, it feels like only Toto Wolff was the one.
But it makes...
building him up.
See, Mick makes a little bit more sense because Mick is part of the Mercedes family as a test driver.
Yep.
And it makes more sense to loan Mick out because...
He's got the experience.
He has the experience. He's part of... He's got the experience. Better driver than what Sargeant is. Williams are using the works Mercedes engine, so it can be part of that loaner deal. Mick isn't going anywhere else. So it's saying borrow our test driver who has experience and then just bring him back. Not someone who has never stepped foot in Formula 1 before.
For me, there's an element of, Mick was a bit slow and a bit crashy as well.
Yep.
Which is exactly what the problem with Logan Sargeant was.
Yep.
But he was less slow and less crashy.
What is the likelihood?
I think the whole experience thing
Yep.
would do him the world of good. He's been able to come out of Formula 1. I really think that would have been just such an easy choice to make.
Yep.
And I understand that maybe they want to look at another rookie, but they don't need a rookie.
But no one's looking at this.
That's right. There's no long-term thing.
No.
Because Williams has got 2 drivers locked in.
Yep.
Unless Sainz is on a really short deal or he's got lots of escape clauses.
There'd be a million escape clauses.
You would think so, but I'm not sure why they want to see this this driver.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a strange
I
one.
don't know anyone that suddenly wants to see him anywhere. And what is the likelihood that we are going to step out in FP1 and that he is going to bin it? As a person, as a rookie who has never stepped foot in a Formula 1 car, you would say it's pretty high.
It'll be interesting.
Here's a pretty high chance. And I tell you what, how stupid are they going to look if he does exactly that? If on his first flyer, he throws it into the wall. And, James Vowles, for me, is fast becoming the most unlikable personality in Formula 1.
He's
he
interesting.
really is. He really is.
He very rarely makes a popular decision. There's part of me that's like, I love how steadfast he is in his ideas. He's not going to be shifted by popular opinion because he can't be.
But it's almost like
it's an interesting
he's
one.
that type of person that's, I've made my mind up. What do you think about this? And he say, well, actually do this. And he's just smiling, going, well, thanks for your feedback, but already decided. You know when your lovely other half says, what do you want for tea? And you say, how about we have Subway? And she goes, no. And I'm like, well, what are you asking me for?
And it's like...
That's what James Vowles is like.
Yeah.
He's already decided what you're having for tea before he asks your opinion on tea.
Well, I don't think he's asking.
That's what he's doing.
I don't think he's asking people for their
I find
opinion.
his comments weird. I find the way he goes about it weird. I find the way that he manages this team odd too. Like, I find it very off-putting.
Yep.
That he's making these decisions. He will then give us these almost cringeworthy Instagram reels at the end of every round, giving us, like, telling us almost things we feel like we want to hear. I thought the way that they handled it was poor too.
Yep.
Like, really, really poor. The Australia thing still is a massive chip on my shoulder.
I know.
That
makes me very happy.
You openly say that we are going to support this driver and we're going to help him through it. It is as clear as day that has not been the case. No matter how you spin it or how you show it, he has not had the support. I thought Alex Albon's response was probably the only sort of, sincere one too. And then even on social media, to announce the replacement and the sacking and then thank him for your work. That is the wrong way round. Like, thank him, but unfortunately you're not going to be part of the team. Here's who's replacing him. Not sack, this is who we've got. Oh, by the way, thanks. No, not well. So I don't think Vowles handles things well at all. I think he's trying to do too much. I think it's starting to show for the team that it's almost like a one-man band. As much as he says it's a team thing, I kind of get the gut feeling it's not. It's not a team decision. It's a one-man band. It's my way or the highway. We're still not getting results. It was a huge hit. Huge hit.
They've made some improvements.
Not a lot.
Compared to where they were at the start of the season, they've made some improvements. Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. Yeah. I like that he's being his own person. Quite often you see people come into these positions and change to be what people thought, that what they think people are going to want them to be, and then they get sacked because they're not really being them. Let James Vowles continue to be James Vowles. From all reports, Williams were in such a weird space of disorganisation that I'm happy for him to be making all these calls at the moment. Look, they know more about these drivers than what we do.
I know.
And we know very little about him, which is probably why it came from such left field. And so, it's Toto Wolff is absolutely hooked on Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
And Toto Wolff has the runs on the board
to make that
call.
James is not.
Well, James Vowles sort of does, though. He's been there.
But he's not
been there just as long.
So, yeah.
He's been there just as long. And so Toto Wolff's making almost an equally as
But you're right in what you're saying.
Unusual call.
Toto's got the
moment.
runs on the boards because he's got the titles and the points and the drivers.
But James Vowles has been there all the way along as well.
Yeah,
Not doing the same things, but, he's been there all the way along as well. So
I don't know.
It's an interesting one. Like, how much does it matter? Very, very little.
But I think
it's going to mean some points at some stage through the season. But because he's got his two drivers locked in, it's a weird position to replace a driver where you've already sacked that driver.
And if you're openly saying that we are supporting you, we are helping you, and that has been the message from day one.
Yeah.
And then just to go ahead and not do it.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
It's just, like, be honest. Like, if you're not supporting him, why didn't you do this 10 rounds ago?
Yeah, no, I don't know. He wasn't performing well enough. He was crashing too regularly, and so I don't mind that he sacked him. I just thought the choice was really strange.
Yeah.
But it was going to have to be a strange choice because you didn't have a role for that driver beyond 9 races.
So that's why I think just keep him there. Like
Lawson would have been the great choice. But I think it says more about Red Bull than it does about Williams. That
Anyway, so a couple of fan comments too. We said we'd bring a couple of fan comments on board for this one as well. So we sort of threw it out to our fans and listeners. Right call or wrong call? Simon Blackburn, absolutely right call. He's too costly for Williams. Can't afford to keep him. Wish Lawson got the seat. Paul Cook said right call, right time. Clear and decisive from Williams. Ron Timms, too many crashes, never enough points. But he also says not sure how a rookie is going to help him score points, though, especially as the car is not fast enough to score one anyway, which is 100% correct. Shane Freer, right call to get rid of Logan, but probably would have had with Mick as a replacement. Brendan said, considering it looks like Lawson was going to take his seat, it made sense. But what Williams has decided has not made sense. So, yeah. Dean Holt, right call, the Sargeant was going to cost him more money, but he personally doesn't know enough about the replacement. But it'd be an improvement. All he has to do is not put it in the wall. Adam Hughes, massive wrong call and another Vow stuff-up. Replacing one below-average driver with another for what the possibility of less crashes. So he's sort of right with us there. Sam Pearsall, right call, wrong time. Williams aren't competitive. And they can't expect to have Logan out and Colapinto in and expect him to immediately get points, which makes sense. And Simon Wong, he says, as a one-eyed Williams fan and a staunch supporter of Logan Sargeant, I'm in two minds about it. You can understand the Williams team frustration, fan first, but as someone who's followed his career since 2020, thinks there's been too many cases and unfairly criticised for journalists and pundits in the media. So, yeah. Interesting take on that too.
Yeah. Was he ever going to make it as a Formula One driver?
Probably not, but
no.
He had his couple of years. But
yeah, exactly.
Like we said, see it out. Yeah, see it out.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's been done. Any other news?
That's sort of it, really. We've got the livery for Monza, which is nothing short of an absolute epic fail from the Ferrari livery department once again.
You do this to yourself.
Nah.
You get yourself all fired up for we're going to have this big thing. We're going to see this, and then you get all excited. And you're like, oh boys, I got a feeling. And I said, Tristan, look, this isn't McLaren. This is Ferrari. They're going to disappoint you, and they disappointed you in a big way.
I even had to look at it. I'm going to say 5 times.
There wasn't a lot of difference
because I thought it was a joke that people were like, haha, here it is, because it looked like literally
this is what
the
Ferrari
opening
does.
Season launch of it. And I was like, is this a joke? Where is it? And it took me forever to find that all we've done
spot the difference.
Is change the numbers to carbon.
Yeah, spot the difference.
Jesus Christ. Just dumb.
Over the summer, we heard that Formula One's going to be going to Africa more likely than what we were expecting at one point. Going to a track that I'd never heard of in now I want to say Venezuela, was it? No, Rwanda. No, Rwanda was it? Yep. Yes. But yeah, so no real detail on that yet. But I think it's a great thing. I think it's a really good thing. But it's once again it brings up the question as to which track will get squeezed out.
Yeah, not quite sure at this stage.
Yeah, but anyway, it'll be a bit of a watch, but great for Formula One, I feel.
Talk of a post-season rookie sprint race at Abu Dhabi.
Love that.
Post-season.
Love that.
What a pointless time.
Yeah, but
a pointless time.
You're not going to give your beautiful Formula One car to a rookie at the start of the season.
Let's play a grand final. Let's award the winner. Let's all go home, and then let's do a really cool race. Can
you imagine what the teams, all the mechanics and the pit crew have all said about this? They've had this long season and going to hang around for one.
Let's wait. Let's do final round, world champion. We're done. Season's over. Wow, what a season! Let's all go home. Hey, let's get all the rookies to come and race here in front of what? 8 people?
Is there any chance that we could do a little off-season season?
Well, like what we're doing with a rookie sprint at the end of the championship.
Yeah, no, but like let's do a few. That's always my annoyance is there's nothing in that dead time.
Well, then let's do a pre-season then. Let's not do a post-season event. At what sport in the world do you see the final and then you want a little bit more of that? The final is...
I'm okay with it. I feel for the teams.
The final is, exhale.
Yeah.
We've crowned our champion.
Yeah.
What a great season. Not let's go and play a little bit more.
I'm okay with it. I'd feel for the people.
Pre-season? Absolutely pre-season.
How many will they have?
One.
On track? No.
Oh, sorry. How many races?
How many drivers per team? Are they going to fill all cars?
No, I think it is actually one rookie per team.
So it'll be 10-car race.
10-car race.
Yeah, interesting.
After the season's over.
Okay.
And we've all gone home. And the championship's decided.
When can we look forward to this? Next year?
6 people, I reckon, will watch it.
I'm in.
So 5 plus you.
Yep.
Pre-season. Do a pre-season.
No, because you're not going to give your car...
But I'll be interested.
To a rookie.
But I'll be interested.
Oh, that's okay.
Do a pre-season. Give last year's chassis to a rookie. Pre-season. Do it the week before testing. Yeah, okay. Oh, a rookie season. Who are the rookies for this year?
You've got to understand that to bring an old car to somewhere that's just not going to happen is requiring all sorts of equipment that's never going to happen. Yeah, no.
On a
I think it'd have to be funded by itself to make that happen.
Yep. Couldn't even. Scale of 1 to 10 interest, 0.5.
Anything else?
No.
Very good.
Who's going to win this weekend? Which is tomorrow. Like, we're late.
We are.
We're late.
Apologies for that.
Sorry, everyone. We're late. However, no one is chastising us on the chat, though. You know how people get really angry.
Oh, well, I'm not on the socials anymore.
No, you're not on the iPhone,
I do need to be there.
Grumpy at us. They're like, where's the episode?
Yeah. I feel like a Lando win, but Ferrari, watch out for that Ferrari. And I'm with you with the science. The science is a good call.
Yep.
But I will say Charles, because he's been so consistent, but I think the science is a great call. We should look at their odds.
I think science.
Imagine
if he wins too, and then he's looking down the end, he'll be standing up on the podium, looking out at the Tifosi, and just out of the corner of his eye, he'll catch the Williams garage. Jesus Christ.
What's happened?
Jesus
what has happened in my life?
Yeah, what has happened to my life? Just staring into the distance, just thinking, oh my God.
Checking out the wind.
Where am I going? With James Vowles down there with a little bunch of flowers blowing.
Franco crushed into the wall.
At him with, and he'll be thinking, God damn it.
Well.
Certainly won't be a sea of blue next year, that's for sure.
Who's winning?
Yeah, Science is winning.
Science is winning.
Well,
I look forward to this scene.
James Vowles is waving at him.
I look forward to this scene.
Come and work for me.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
But can you peel the car out of the wall that Franco put into the wall?
Yeah, come and drive this one. It's the one in the barrier.
Until then, are we going to do a fan frenzy or are we going to roll it into one because we're not going to get them both out in time?
You're our studious producer.
I think we're going to have to do that. Sorry, people. Thank you for getting involved in fan frenzy, but I don't know it's going to work this week. We'll roll some questions into next week. I promise, but that doesn't mean don't hit us with questions next week. Until then, Monza's fun. Formula One's great at the moment. Enjoy everything. Goodbye.